There we go. It's James speaking. We're live again. I just want to make sure we have a good sound. I'm using my wireless microphone today. Normally, I've been using that blue Yeti mic, that kind of big, clubby one that sits in front of my keyboard or behind my keyboard and bugs me. So I'm going to try the my lavalier mic, the Hollyland Lark 2, which I was using before. Been playing around with it. Hopefully, we've got enough sound and volume. Let me know if I don't. Let me know if I don't. What do we got to cover today? Well, first of all, these haven't joined these before. These are live, unscripted, open Q&A questions about starting, building, and growing an education business. So I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have around the business of education, and obviously with the elephant in the room, AI. So that's whether how to create content, market your campus, build out your campus, everything that AI can leverage going forward with that. So that's kind of the way it works. Again, it's completely open. You can put your questions in. Anything is open season. Um, what we can do if there are no questions, and actually, if you're first time here or you haven't here before, like, don't be afraid to lurk. It's okay. You can lurk as much as you want. Hopefully, you'll find some value in here or something that you can use or apply in your own business. But obviously, I'd like more questions. And if you have questions, just put them in. Even if you think that they're silly, there's no good or bad questions. Everyone's in a different space when it comes to all of this AI stuff. And that's okay. Uh, and in fact, one of the things that I think I personally recognized is that when I first started doing membership sites a long time ago, one of the things with a membership site, if you use the word membership site, is especially when we're thinking of passive income, the majority of the membership sites that I either started and or was involved in the early days of what was traditionally called internet marketing, um, it was all about the owner of the membership site, like creating content uh, all the time. So um, creating that content required the owner, the membership site, new content, new content, new content all of the time. And it is absolutely impossible, I think, at this point to create new content. I think you can curate content or combine content quite easily. Thing is that everyone can do that. So, focusing on making sure that you stay up to date on AI or stay up to date on course creation, I don't think it's possible anymore. Everyone has ideas about it. Everyone has ideas they can put together. Everyone has AI prompts and things that are there. So, that membership site model, in as much as I would like to call it still a model, um, there's no way in, I don't know what the word, I mean, there's no way you can keep up with everything. Everything is kind of the point that I'm making. So, um, I'm open to questions, any questions. Make sure you put them there. And again, I'll do my best. So who we got here? Hi, Debbie. Future Shaper, very cool. Greetings to you, Debbie. And we've got LR Hutch. Again, nice to have you. Pretest for a student to recognize what they didn't know. Okay, that's a good one. I'm just going to, and again, sometimes some people have, not trouble. There's a couple people sometimes that have trouble getting to these particular YouTube channels. And again, my site is training site, so it's youtube.com and then the @ training sites. And I do these every Wednesday. They are absolutely open for anyone to come in and use. And LR, I'm going to show you something. Actually, again, this is something I just found out about recently. And let's do this. Actually, let me do one more thing before I answer that question. I got one more thing I just want to do. Um, here's something I get asked on a frequent basis. Sometimes people are going, I want to create some content, or I want to create a course, or how quickly does it take to actually create content? And I'm going to show you what I did for the last hour, and then I'm going to show you a thing with Notebook LM, how to create an explainer video from it, basically in a couple hours. So if you are looking to create content, and again, this is just me doing it from research, and it's something you all can do in your particular topic. But what I did, and I'm going to show this live to you, what I did here is, and I'll get to that question in a second because there's something hidden kind of in the space here. So here's the situation. Let me just open this one up. I'm going to open up I'm going to open up my ChatGPT prompt here, and I had it over on another screen. So let's do this one. I'm just going to bring it over. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. So one of the things that I've been really focusing on is natural language prompting, because I think in 2026, this whole idea of doing like text prompts like I was here, it's going to be natural language conversations that we have with an AI agent. And there's a thing called the CLEAR framework, which is one that's been around for a while. And I know there's another, I saw it again referenced by, I think, someone this morning, which reminded me of it on another YouTube video. And basically what I did is I was just kind of going through and I had a conversation with, in this case, ChatGPT about how this fits in 2026. So I had an idea. I just started having a conversation, in this case with ChatGPT. So I had it. And what I ended up doing from this is ChatGPT offered to create a whole bunch of documents, PDFs, thing about checklists, all of that stuff. ChatGPT offered to create it. So what I've done is I'm going to go to Notebook LM. On the left-hand side, you see the documents. These are a lot of the documents that were actually provided to me. So what I'm going to do is just add the last couple, and I'm going to actually create a video and an audio based on that. So these ones, documents, it's not letting me do those ones. So let's do this in the meantime. Just going to open up some of these, and what we'll do is we'll just export them as PDFs. And again, this is something anyone can do. It is not difficult to do. Let me do this one. So that was the CLEAR framework. I'm just going to go File, Open, and again, we'll go see the other ones that I had created. I don't know why it's not allowing me to sync those ones up, but that's okay. We'll do it manually just for today. And pardon me, we've just got a couple more to do here. Make sure I have all of them. So all I'm doing in Notebook LM, I'm just putting in all of the documents that I had, that I saved from the chat that I was having with ChatGPT. And I've exported them as PDFs. So let's see if I can get them into Notebook now. There we go. So I'm just going to put these in. And again, this is something you can all do with Notebook LM, which is free for anyone who has a Google account. So it's there. I've got my documents that are there. They're syncing up. So I asked it a couple little things about natural language programming, added as a note. And on the right-hand side, you can see it says Video and Overview. I'm just going to click Video Overview and let that run, and we'll come back to it. So again, if anyone is doing any kind of work where they want to create a course, and an easy way is to do an explainer video, you can do one right away in Notebook LM. And also what you'll see is the research that I did it up in a couple examples. And let me show this to you. Let me do this one here. I basically have a framework, and I'm going to be creating this framework or putting this framework in what was a traditional course with examples and a way for you to do it using AI tools. So no more course content kind of stuff. It's like, here are the prompts that you use to apply it to get what it is that you want. So here's an example, here's the prompt, here's the tool to use, go use it, and then let's go back and discuss it. So that's kind of the first thing. On Notebook LM as well, one of the things that you can do is, in this, this one's kind of interesting here. So the reason I showed this, LR, was you were asking us specifically about how to, pretest for students recognize what they don't know. Here's a couple ways to do it. One of the things with Notebook LM is and there's a number of tools that do this, if you have a whole bunch of YouTube videos, maybe you've got YouTube videos that that you have about a particular topic, maybe you have documents, you have lecture notes, anything that you want. Anyone can go and simply go and put them into Notebook LM and add them as sources. Make this a bit smaller so we get it to the right size. Or you can even go and do Discover. And I'll put mine in. I'm just going to do a search for something. And again, I can look on Google Drive here on the bottom. I can pick search through Google Drive if I have any of my own references, or I can just look on the web and submit, and it'll go take a look at a whole bunch of sources for references. So when you are studying for something, you're not limited to your notes, basically. And if I look through some of these different things, all sources, so there's a whole bunch here, right? I can go through, select the ones that I want or what I don't want. I won't do any here. I can import them all, in my case, and have them as the particular reference documents. And of course, the thing about Notebook LM, which is so great, is that when Notebook LM, which is technically Gemini, it does any of these Gemini chats, it's only using the reference documents that you've provided it. Doesn't go to the internet, it only uses these reference documents. So in my case here, on the right-hand side, I'm just moving my mouse here, hopefully make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. I have a briefing doc, a study guide, FAQ, and timelines. So if you want to, a student and or a teacher or a course creator or a researcher, anyone can simply go and pick out the study guide and have it go and generate the notes based on the document. So that's the first thing. Second thing you can do is we're going to do, I'm just going to open up ChatGPT here. Again, another simple example. Hopefully this one works. You can do, if you just put quiz GPT into ChatGPT, it creates flashcards. So there we go. If you can put in any topic that you want, and it actually goes to create the flashcards. So if you're actually thinking around with that right now, like what does GPT stand for? Give me an example in the prompt, or try it yourself right now. Just put it in and do quiz GPT, or put the word quiz and whatever word that it is, and it'll actually create a whole bunch of flashcards for you that you can go through. So that one's kind of kind of cool, I think. Anyway, if you are interested in studying or using this, it's something that's pretty straightforward. And again, these are ones that create quizzes quickly and automatically for you. If you're creating prompts or using prompts, or you have custom GPTs, some of the other tools that are available to you, you can create these flashcards pretty quickly. And again, this is like having a live teaching assistant slash AI agent employee that's available for you at any time to do whatever it is that you need to do, or be able to even go and teach. So I thought that one was kind of neat. I've used it a little bit, but not too much. So a pretest for a student recognize what they don't know. And again, that's using the flashcards about a particular topic. One of the things you can always do, and this is something I get asked on a regular basis, and again, I don't know about you, but often, because I don't know what to prompt, I often ask, doesn't matter if I'm using Claude or GPT, ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity, I often ask the tool to give me a prompt that I can give it. So one of the things, if you are kind of doing, just say, I'm studying or I'm learning about this, I want you to create a prompt that would ask me or challenge me or let me know what I don't know about this particular topic. And if you give or have a prompt that you can create once and use, give to the students, give to your customers, give to the people that are taking your course, and go through there. And again, that's the whole thing with personalized learning that's coming out, right? And I think that's why avatars and the study mode in ChatGPT. Now, give me a thumbs up. Have you seen study mode before? If you haven't, I'll show you how that works. And exactly, that's one of the things for pretesting, is that study mode. The first things that it does is it actually gets a baseline level of knowledge about a particular topic before guiding you through learning the answers that you need to know in a personalized fashion. So LR, thank you for that question. 3 things: custom GPTs using the quiz feature in ChatGPT, and also all 3 of the platforms have study mode, which is now available for you. And I have a couple of videos on the YouTube channel about that, as well as in ChatGPT, or sorry, the campus on that one. But if you are using, again, GPT here, I'll just pull it up for you so you can see it. If you are going here and you do a click here, you can see that it has agent mode, deep research, create image, and then it's got more, and it's got one here called study and learn. So that's the one for, that I think works really, really well when you don't know the level that you're actually at. And I think one of them is called study mode in Claude. And again, I can't remember the names, but basically they work the same. Anytime that you prompt these or ask about something, it never gives you the answer. It asks you questions back. So that's, one of the things, if you are giving this for yourself, or if you're giving it to a student or a course purchaser or someone in your community, just say, hey, if you don't know where you're at, just go to the study and learn part of GPT-5 or whatever it is and ask about this, and you'll know exactly where you are. So hopefully that one kind of helps. So yeah, so what else do we got for questions here? And I don't know if I had that. I'm just going to show this to you because I can't remember if I had it before. I did show you the flashcards, I hope. Yeah, the flashcards. So hopefully you did see this one. That was the flashcards ones. And I just put the word quiz and then GPT. But if you put, for example, quiz rocket science, it should create flashcards about rocket science and let you know where it is or what you're doing. So that's a good way to kind of figure it out. It'll give you a really good idea if you know enough about rocket science. Moving on. Now, this one doesn't ask you questions. This is flashcards, right? And Notebook LM and a couple of the other ones use flashcards or create flashcards as well if you need to do that. Okay, yeah, anyway, who else we got here? Any other questions, things going on? Discord, we can talk about Discord. That one there. What else do we have? Foreign languages, training, remote worker, knowing generalizing, how to let a student. Okay, so we'll come back to that one. I want to talk about Discord. Here's with Discord. Again, this is my personal. I'm going to give you my personal. And if you're not familiar with Discord, it is a. Let me just open one up here. Where's my one? I have to remember where it is. There we go. I have a whole bunch of communities that, there we go. So if you haven't seen Discord, Discord is it's a space. I'm going to use the word space, and people can have their own spaces. And if you look on the left-hand side here of what I'm looking at, these are a number of the spaces that I am part of. So this is a centralized Discord server, and people have their own channel or group or space on Discord. So for example, I have one here, which is the Ecamm live community. Ecamm is a software that I do these live streams. And in here, they basically have a whole bunch of areas or discussion forums or places where members can get in and ask questions about Ecamm. Another one I have here is for Descript, the Descript software. So this is a piece of software that I used in the past, doing that before. So you can have and join as many of these spaces as you want, and each of the spaces can have multiple channels. So Discord, my understanding, again, I don't have my own channel here. My understanding is they have a free version to get started, and then you can, I think you can upgrade. And again, uh, uh, let me know if I'm wrong. Put them in the comments of other ones that you, any other thing that you're saying. But these for me personally, and I'm saying personally, is if I look at this screen, there's an awful lot going on for me. So in many of the groups that I'm involved in or that I go and try and find answers to, a lot of times I don't know where to go, and it ends up being a little bit different or difficult for me to find the answers or questions that I need. That's the first thing. Second thing is I don't know exactly what's happening on the AI side on this, and the availability of Discord to be accessible, the content in your community, your channel, to have it accessible when you're creating content in the future using all of these cool AI tools. So it's a good place to start. My personal preference, again, is I let me just do this. This is actually projects that I'm working on. This is the one I was just doing, the one that we're creating a video on. So this is my, in my campus, this is our project management tool. We can cover that one if you want. But in my case, you know, for me, what happens is we have Fluent Community, and I have, in my case, I have some spaces, and these are the spaces that are available to the members. Some of them are open ones, some of them are only for the private or paid members. And again, when you join up, you get, you know, access to this particular space, which in my opinion is a little bit more clear than using a Discord server. And again, one of the things you have to think about when you're doing this is that you have to ask yourself, what are the levels of the users that I have in my community? How technical savvy are they? I hope I pronounced that correctly. How technical are they? How easily are they familiar with the software? Do they know how to use it? Is it something that they can get involved and engaged in? And then if I have all this valuable user-generated content, how do I get access to it from all of the other tools that I might be using today, but more importantly, in the future? So in as much as Discord is a great service, a lot of people use it, a lot of people love it, I think it's got to fit into the shape of your business and the way that you've got your campus or your learning community kind of set up. So that's again my particular piece here. Foreign languages training for remote worker abroad is a good idea. Yeah, so my whole thing on this with spaces, and my whole business is about a training site, right? So I think everyone should have their own privately branded campus. That's what I'm calling it, a training site. And in fact, that's exactly what we build at training sites. We build out these communities for people, and they can be done on WordPress or they can be done on software as a service. The one that we recommend is Circle, but we basically build these out for people. My personal belief on this, and where I see the other people in my space or that I traditionally was internet marketing with, you're going to see a huge influx towards what people are calling a community, which is kind of a membership community. And I think campus is the last place. Community isn't necessarily about teaching or about specifically providing an outcome for people. It's a place to gather, share their expertise and their stories, but it isn't about a particular process or education or transformation that you're promising as part of a campus. So I think that walled garden or the moat for a business, an education business, is having your own personally branded campus. If you're going to have it on Discord, that's definitely an option. But you have to look and say, well, how does that fit into the rest of my business? Am I going to be doing live events? Am I going to be doing email marketing? Am I doing social media marketing? Am I going to be doing joint ventures? Am I need that content to create course content or teaching content? So it's that whole part of what's your platform? What's your delivery platform? I think that having your own personally branded campus is what we're going to see being hugely important moving forward, especially in 2026. And if you haven't already, I will show you this one thing. I did a video yesterday. Let me just do this one. I'll pull up the YouTube channel here just as an example so you can see it. We'll go to my channel just for a second because I did do a video yesterday on it here. This one here. This one called This Replaces Courses, and I'll put it up for you. This is all about why a privately branded campus works and how it flips the funnel. If you haven't seen this one, go watch it. And it's something actually that I'll be covering a little bit later this afternoon for the second part of it. But this is a huge decision that we're going to have to make moving forward because there's just too much content from too many people, and there isn't a way to protect, I don't think, your content or your processes unless you have some kind of privately branded campus with your own community, your own members, and your own partners who are interested, involved in your particular area of expertise. So hopefully that helps a little bit there. So let me just go and see what else we got here. So yeah, for the Discord community, again, that one's kind of up in the air. Foreign languages. Here's the other thing with foreign languages. The ones from Google, Well, first of all, the foreign languages on YouTube videos now, I think it will auto dub as your account gets a little bit bigger. It actually auto dubs your videos. So I get people now from multiple countries, from multiple languages subscribing to the videos, which I wouldn't have got before. So it's auto dubbing. And I can't remember which one that it was. I think it was, let me just open this one up. Yeah, so there's one here. This one is, I did a video on this one earlier as well. This one's called Opal, which is a mini app creator. And this one's available in the States right now. I'm logged in. Here's one. I created some mini apps here. And if I'm not mistaken, again, correct me if I'm wrong, this one is experimental, but this one was available in 35 languages um, at this first start. So this one was about, turn your YouTube videos into quiz to help you learn. So this was a video that I did, and basically the way that this one works is you create your own mini apps by verbally interacting and just saying, hey, this is what I want my mini app to do. And it actually goes and creates the mini app and makes it available here. So this one was turn your YouTube video into a quiz to help you learn. So you can give any YouTube video URL, it'll go through the YouTube video and create a quiz out of it. So that was just one throwaway app that was done, and it's in multiple languages. So if you did this in French or Spanish or Mandarin or Hindu or Hindi or whatever it happens to be, Greek, you should be able to get this to work in the multiple languages, and it should be able to output in those as well. So yeah, interesting thing. I think all of the AI tools, and this is something other, just to keep in mind, things are moving so fast. I think language is going to be less of an issue. And I will share one thing. If you haven't already, let me show you this, because this one's the freaky one. If you haven't seen, and I did a video on this as well, but if you do the, let me do the, yeah, I'm just multi-language. Yeah, so here's one of the things that is really, really flippy. If you were aware of the launch 2 weeks ago from Google about the Google 10 phones, the new ones they came out with, they have actually, and they demonstrated it. I'm just looking for the link. Yeah. So this one is you can actually have multi-language conversations with people right now on your phone. So Gemini does live translations on the phone, having conversations with people. So this is available now on the phone. 2 months from now, 3 months from now, next year, beginning of next year, I don't see why there's any reason why this isn't something that's going to happen on the fly with any of these AI tools. And they did a live demo of it. If you get a chance, go see. It was not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I think it was, yeah, one of the guys from the late night shows. He did the demo, and basically it was someone picking up the phone that was speaking Spanish, and it was automatically translated to English on the other phone in real time. There was no lag or anything like that. He answered in English. It was converted back to Spanish. So the whole thing with language is going to be really interesting, and I think sooner rather than later. Personal thing, Bet, I think language is going to be less of an issue. That maybe that's something that in the past had been a bit of a problem. And again, any of these personally branded campuses are available anywhere as long as you've got some kind of web interface. So, written a book. What do you suggest you do with the messages and the stories? Yeah. Okay, so I will talk about the books, Doug, just for a second, and then we'll go back to that platform again. So with a book, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with the book because it technically is an asset or text asset. And you have it right now, I would suspect you have it in text. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do with it. And one of the things that I would personally do, well, there's a whole bunch of things you can do. Here's one of the easiest things that you can, and again, I'm just going to put this in just because I'm playing around. And again, if you're not sure what you should be doing for any of these, I'm just going to log into my Cloud account here. And if you're not sure, just basically go to Claude and lay out the context. So you just say, I've recently published a book on personal, I'm just putting this in as in I'm going to, give you a copy and just say, I want you to look at it or analyze it. And just say, and I want to discuss it or come up with, some ideas on how to leverage it to grow my business. So basically, just give some context, have a conversation. There's not one prompt here that you just give and all of a sudden you get the right information. And in fact, that's the document we were just talking about, these conversations, that one I was just talking about, Clear. And there's a whole framework that I put together to go through this. But the one was, let me just pull up, see if I can have one here. Yeah, so here's one for Clear. Creating clarity in education prompts. So here's actually the formula. This is the one that I'm doing, and actually the course will be out shortly. So it's action verb, deliverable, make this a little bit bigger, audience, scope or constraints, and success measurement. So create here, and it's like create a 5-course module outline for the first time for these people and talking points. Okay, and that's just an example for an outline. So what I would do is just say, hey, I'm going to give you a particular book. Don't ask it to create anything. I'm going to give you the book. The book is for, the book contains these 5 pieces or whatever. And the goal is to help beginners. And then say, give me some ideas or suggest some strategies or what it is that you want to actually have happen. And again, what's the deliverable? What is the output from it? Don't generate output from it yet. Go and say, look, I'm looking for assistance or suggestions is the output. And this is the kind of output I want. And of course, those are the other parts in the step. So the message that I'm giving is anytime you don't know what to do or you don't know how to approach something, go and ask any of the tools how to approach it. Have a conversation. Don't look for a prompt. Look for a conversation. Treat it as an AI employee, someone who's in your department. So if they're in your strategy department, have a conversation. Hey, just say, look, this is where we're at. I've got this. What do you think? What should we do with it? What are some of the strategies that we can apply? Will this one work? Will that one work? And just treat it as employee. Don't treat it as a text and response. And I think the reason is because in 2026, we're going to have these agents available that are going to be able to output all of this stuff for us if we have the ability to converse with AI in a natural way, verbally, as opposed to putting some kind of text prompts in. So upload a copy of your book and just have a conversation. Ask for suggestions, create ideas, think of strategies, challenge it. Take the answer and bring it to one of the other AI tools and actually see what comes up with it. So here's the one, hopefully that helps, Doug. Give me a thumbs up if that's okay. Developed a website, how to integrate AI with the website page so it would run prompts that would generate info answering students' questions. We can do that. Okay, and I'll get to that one in a second, Debbie. So here's one of the things, again, and this is for me personally, and again, do I know do I have a crystal ball on these? No, of course not. But here's my bet for 2026. I think that the AI avatars are going to be absolutely huge in 2026. They're already started right now. I think some of them are for iffy purposes. And I'm thinking along the lines of Grok and some of the stuff that Facebook has done, more in a social companion kind of space. But I know Google has Portraits, which is one. There's other ones coming out now that is an avatar that can be with general knowledge or it can have specific knowledge. And I think what's going to happen is that those avatars are going to be something that you and I, with our content, are going to be able to license to people to make the avatar and our content available in other places other than our site. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that the avatar has to have knowledge or use your content to be able to reply in a way that is appropriate for your community, your campus. So I'll show you a couple ways to do it, some that I am using, some that I'm not but know of. And I'll show you that there's actually, let me just pull this one up here. Now here's an example, and again, website stuff. This is where it's all kind of coming into play. But if you go to, let me go to another one here. I'm going to open up a Notion database. And again, this is Notion, which is a place, an archive of all of your ideas. You may have heard terms like second brain or things like that. But on these ones, and again, I just have a free one. If I'm not mistaken, and again, I don't have the upgraded plan. There we go. Notion AI is here. So here's one here where they have an AI agent that's built directly into your Notion account, and it allows or connects all your Notion data to an AI agent that is available. So if someone has access to your Notion site and the AI agent, they're answering questions, or the AI is answering questions directly based on what you've collected there. So there's a lot of the different softwares as a service who are adding this kind of thing right now. The one that I've been using with the WordPress site that I have, let me pull that one up so you can see it, is we'll just go and, yeah. So if I go, for example, and I look at some of the tutorials that I have, and in the bottom right, you'll see, let me just make sure it's this one here. You'll see that this one I have, this is called AI Engine, and it's a WordPress plugin. And what this one is this is technically ChatGPT. You can also use Gemini or, Claude as the engine. But what this one does here is if I ask a question of ChatGPT, it will base its answer based on the page content and all of the other information that I've created. So if I have, understanding Nana Banana, if I go and open this up, I'm just going to put in, just going to say, can you tell me how to use Nano Banana, if I spelled it correctly, for featured images, my courses. So what should happen here, and again, is this perfect? No, it's not. But what's going to happen here is it should reference the page here, and it's using ChatGPT to hopefully answer the question or come up with something that is specifically there. So there it is. It's actually got the links to where to go and how to get started. Open up Google Gemini app on your device, find the Create Images option in the settings. So it's gone through and picked this out specifically. Now, in the background, the other thing that's happening here is on my site, and I'll show this to you. I've done it in a couple other videos, but I'll show you where this is. Just going to open up. I'm in the admin section of my site, but what I'll do is I'll open it up so that you can see it. And what happens for me specifically is I have this software, and basically what it does is it indexes all of the content on my site. So that when ChatGPT is answering a question in that little box, it's referencing all of the videos, the tutorials and stuff that I put on the site. So right now I think there's 16 or 17 pages of this, a couple hundred different posts that it's using. So it's using both ChatGPT, but it's referencing stuff, all of the documents that are directly on my own site. So software as a service have this, and if they don't, they'll be getting it. And WordPress, for example, has it as a plugin that does something similar. So hopefully that helps. Again, here's a thing with, and I just want to talk about this. That's why I think privately branded campus is so important. And actually, it's why I updated the campus map. If you haven't seen my campus map yet, I actually went and changed it. The day before yesterday. I'll just open it up for you so that you can see it. It's free to you. So again, when you register for the Training Sites campus, you actually get access to this, but it's the 10-step campus map here. And again, this is the process that I've seen over the last 25 years for people who are in the information/education space, of all of the things that they end up having to do if they're going to have an education business. That, might be selling courses, it might be selling info products, but if you have business, uh, these are the 10 steps that people are going to go through. And in fact, most of the time they were in order. So there was a kind of a set process that continually revolved, or you ended up doing the same thing over and over and over again, which was fine. But one of the things that I found is with AI has come, it's kind of changed the steps or the order of the processes. So that's why I'm updating it. And the thing that I've identified really quickly, and ask yourself if it's the same for you, but a lot of people coming into the campus, as an example, they already have content. They have a ton of content, and in fact, they're creating content all of the time. When I started the campus map, it was about selling courses, and it was about people didn't necessarily have a whole bunch of content yet because it was so hard to create. But you can create content now, in minutes using deep research or some of these AI tools. So the question isn't content anymore. The question is, where am I going to put the content? And that's why having a campus, in my opinion, or that central library of all of your processes, your research, all of the things that you believe to be true or have proven to be true or are using that work, the stuff that doesn't work, your explanations of it, the examples of how you've used it and when it used, other people's results, what you learned from other people. If you have that one central library that is yours and yours alone, that I think is the important part moving forward, because there is so much content coming out that people are getting overwhelmed, and they're looking for someone that says, hey, if you want to build a personally branded campus or a place to keep all of your content and be able to have a community and members and monetize it, for example, you can go and create content, search all over, but there are some people who are already doing it. So if you want to work with them, find out what worked and shortcut. That whole learning curve, that's something that is available if someone else has a campus. So if you have an area or topic of expertise, I would suggest right now to capture all of your digital exhaust and keep it somewhere. Keep it somewhere. And that somewhere has to be semi-organized. And the reason that you want to collect it, curate it, and somewhat organize it is because all of these AI tools that we've been talking about, they are going to be able to connect to your data. And whether that's in a community site like a privately branded campus, or having agents or avatars get access to your library based on payment or non-payment, that kind of thing, you've got to have it collected somewhere. So the first thing is and again, the first two steps now in the map, the ones I'm doing, is create YouTube videos as fast as you can, as often as you can, as rough as you can. And the reason that you want to do that is the transcripts, because every single video has a transcript. The value is in the transcript, because AI can generate all sorts of stuff off of the transcript easily now, and it's easier now using the transcripts than it is multimodal AI, which I think is a little bit off in terms of indexing or keeping up with. The tools can do it, but I don't know how they're archiving the videos yet. I'm not entirely sure on that. So irrespective if you're using Discord or WordPress or Circle.so or Notion.site, like, keep your stuff in one place and create as much as you can. Keep it in as an organized fashion as you can in terms of frameworks, and give it in a way that is easily actionable and not about a bunch of fluff. So I think the process parts, that kind of stuff is important, because people can create the content themselves after. But if they use your framework or they use your process, that's where your value is. Not the creation of the content, but the framework that you provide for people. So, whether you call it a workflow or a framework or a process, a recipe, doesn't really matter, but it's your way of using AI and leveraging it to let anyone be able to do what you've done by following the steps that you're able to teach them. So kind of a long, long run about one. just put it into some kind of place where you can save it and call it your own. And then the other thing I'm just going to mention on this, and by the way, keep the questions coming. I know that I get these get going on a little bit. Get a little bit of I get excited about this stuff in my old age here. the the cool thing is with all of these kind of chunks of stuff, it's when you're creating content, it doesn't have to be perfect anymore. Again, my 2 cents on this. And doing live edits and rough content, there's nothing wrong with it. I think, you know, the more that you spend time creating content, you realize that it's never perfect anymore, and it changes so quickly that you can't keep up anyway. So this is kind of leading into the next question is, you know, do you do updates to videos? And the answer is, let me just, let me scroll around here because Debbie was asking this. So, yeah. So have you ever go back and edit your live videos to re-release separately? For me personally, I have not. And the reason that I'm not is because I don't know if the word is lazy, but I don't know if it's worth the value of recreating a video from before. And again, I don't know the topic that you're in. But as an example, if I said, you know what, I'm going to go and create another video. Let me just go look at one. This is a good example. So if I go back and I'm just taking a look at my channel here. So let me go back. Just going to go back and take a look here for a second. So if I do it by oldest ones first. So some of the ones from 5 years ago when I was first playing around with LearnDasher example, you know, I only started actually doing this back again 2 years ago, kind of playing around with it. But this channel was around 5 years ago. And in fact, I have another one. And again, this is probably the biggest mistake that I ever made in my life. Well, one of them. I was mining crypto when it first came out. I wish I would have still mined that. That's another story though. You know, if I take a look and I have my, the James Maduke channel, if I go and take a look at the videos on these ones, I've got it turned off. I'm not lined in it, but this one was from, I think, the year after YouTube started. So if I had gone and spent the time working on those particular videos, there might have been some that I should have kept that I didn't keep. But in terms of redoing ones, there's probably some I should redo, but it's easier or faster in many cases, I think, now to actually go and just redo the video, because it's very hard to make stuff identical or close to the same message or the purpose of the message on where it fits into something. I think if you're re-recording it, again, that's your own personal style. There's probably some that I could go and do as ideas. Some of them are older ones. They still make sense, but you know, for whatever reason, it wasn't something that got picked up on YouTube, but it's still value that is actually there. So here's the other thing I would say about the videos. If you are looking at them from the perspective of, I want to capture my digital exhaust, what I would do is if I have what may have been a course, I would redo the topic, but update it if it is part of a process. But if it has something to do specifically with content, I wouldn't go back and update the content anymore, because that's something that anyone can do. But if it's a unique process or something that's within there, or it has an updated tool that you use that gets applied to something, then yeah, I'd probably go and redo it and plug it into an existing course. Would I do it for a YouTube channel? No. If it's a YouTube channel, put content in, it's not going to be the same, redo the same video, but do it with a different title and do it with a different thumbnail and change it up a little bit as a redo and just add it as another asset and put it into your digital library that makes it available to anyone. So if it's in a course, yeah, I would update it. If it's something that is just there as content, I wouldn't, I don't edit it. I just do another one. And it takes too much time, in my opinion. Again, personal opinion on creating content. I try and do it as quickly as I can, as fast as I can, as raw as I can. My personal approach to it. Again, some people in a particular market have to have a different level of or style of video, but when it comes to fast moving spaces, and again, if you're publishing stuff that has value, don't be afraid to be rough around the edges, because the value isn't necessarily in the quality of the presentation, but it's in the quality of the transcript that can be used in other places or repurposed in other places with other tools. So yeah, okay. So here's, let me go and see if there's, hopefully that answers your question. And again, if you want to know about live edits, and by the way, put comments below if you disagree with me, if you agree, if you have examples of stuff, please make sure to put them in the comments below. Give me a like and all of that great stuff, because apparently it matters more than subscriber counts now that you have a lot of comments and a lot of likes. So if you could give me those, that would be great. And of course, if you're watching this and you haven't joined the community, the campus, please go to the link there and join up. It's absolutely free to get started. So there we go. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about live edits too. I'm a big fan of live edits and getting good at moving stuff around like this with a couple different scenes that you can do with all sorts of different pieces of software. That's pretty straightforward, and you can able to control enough of your screen to keep it interesting and show what you need to show if you're doing any kind of educational content that is screen-based. Now, the cool thing, of course, is that if you have a smartphone and you need to do something on a phone, you're in pretty good space as well, because a lot of the tools that are available on the phone, or if you're just on your computer with the smartphone taking pictures of something happening live, that live edit part, that live interaction with the video with all of the multimodal tools is available as well. And if you haven't tried that, just make sure, if you haven't played around with multimodal, one of the things to do, and I've done some demos on this one, but go to aistudio.google.com, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see stream, and you can turn your webcam on, share the screen, or talk, and you can have the webcam open, and that can be on your smartphone, walking around outside at the pickleball court, taking a look at the players, having a conversation with Gemini and saying, what is the best strategy for the team on the left? How come the person is serving from there and the partner is up near the net? What is the kitchen? Is the person in the kitchen? Is that a legal shot? Talk to the AI tool while you're actually doing it, and you can record all of this stuff while it's happening. So, this whole multimodal input, again, it's stuff that you can capture that is available for anyone to go and create great content about a process or something that they're passionate about or that has a topic that's interesting them. So I'm not going to turn this on, so I don't want to get any feedback. But again, a Google account, aistudio.google.com. On the left-hand side, there's stream. You select whether you want to just share your screen or webcam. And if you want to talk directly to the tool, you can actually go and do that. I've got a bunch of videos that show live demos of this, but I'm suggesting you just go play around with it and see what happens. It is pretty amazing. This exact same thing is available on your iPhone or on your Android device. Just install Google Live and you can walk around with your phone and do the exact same thing. And that's free. It's available for everyone with a Google account. So yeah, so that, that live edit part, rough around the edges, I'm okay with that. If you're doing rocket science or you're doing something that has to do with, financial instruments, or you're doing something that obviously that the expectation of your audience requires something more, yeah, but if you can get by with doing your live one take, two take, kind of maybe join a couple pieces together, but try and do it as quickly as can, as much as you can, and then get the transcripts from it. And I'll show you the one other thing again. If you haven't used the transcripts before, there's a free service right here. It's called YouTubetranscript.io. Again, it's free. And if you want to take the transcript from here, for example, and again, I'll just show you how this particular one works. So we'll do the latest one here. We'll do instant explainer videos. It's out, it's available. There we go. And I'm just going to share the URL. I'm going to copy it. We'll go to our YouTube transcript creator. put in the link, and we get a transcript that is time-stamped, ready to go. Plus, and this is the other one that you were asking about earlier, chat with the transcript. It's in beta over here. There's our time-stamped transcript. We can copy it, key quotes, Q&A, flashcards, quiz, study guide, and highlights. They're all available for free right there. So, Google Notebook LM, which I have the video actually being created in the background, but this is another example of same idea. So if you wanted to create a study guide from that, it'll actually go make it. We can copy it and download it. Again, free service. And this is a part that, is making courses so interesting, because if I look at this and I'm saying, okay, great, I want to create a course on this particular content, there's a billion YouTube videos, and if you get a playlist of someone that you like and you basically want to learn what's in the YouTube video or the playlist of videos, this is something that anyone can create with a free tool. Are you going to create courses or content, or are you going to be able to teach frameworks and guide people through frameworks? That's what I'm betting on. That's where I think things are going. And if you're going to do that, I would think you would want a privately branded campus with some level of protection of your particular processes, your frameworks, and how they get applied, and your ability to guide people through that. So that's why I think a personally branded campus is a place that's actually going to grow really quickly here. Okay, so hopefully that helps. More questions, let me know. How long have I been going to? I get going on these things and sometimes I can't stop, but here we'll go. Book, audio, videos, and graphics. So Doug, if you have all of that information, if it is available now in Google Drive or OneDrive or one of these spaces, technically it is available to AI at this point. And the way that you can do that, and again, here's a couple things. I'll just show this to you. If you are using an AI tool, as an example, on here. So let me just see if you can see this okay. So when you're using Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, one of the things you can do is, let me minimize this a bit so we can see it. If you go and you use any of the tools, one of the things that they have at the bottom is add connectors or manage connectors. So if you want to chat with your content, what you can do is you click manage connectors, and you can manage or access your Google Drive, your Google Calendar, and then some of the other ones that are there. So there's a number of connectors. If you have that data that is someplace on your Google Drive, someplace it's available on Google Drive, you can start prompting Claude or ChatGPT about the stuff that you already have, the terabytes of information. Whether they be images, it's multimodal now, whether it's documents, anything along those lines, you can start playing around with it. So next time you go to Claude, excuse me, just go in the settings at the bottom there, right here, search and tools, you'll see add connectors or manage connectors, and they have a ton of them available. Excuse me, and they're both available for all three platforms. Again, it's there for you. Now the problem is, of course, you're using it and access for yourself. The other thing that goes on is like, how do you make this available to other people? And that's where I think that privately branded campus comes together. Since you have all that content, you can use prompts to create PDFs, create quizzes, create cheat sheets, identify processes that are directly within your existing content, and teach those processes based on your content. So don't be afraid to do that. AI has access to it if it's in one place and stored in one place. And you've got a place that just doesn't happen to be public, it's your Google Drive. If you have a Notion database, it is available to the public. 99% it is. Circle SO, if you have a campus, you can make it available to the public. Technically, you could make your Google Drive available to the public and have it available to other people's AI, but I don't know how to necessarily paywall that in an easy way and control the type of access or the type of questions that can be asked from your content. So hopefully that helps a little bit. What else have we got for questions there? Audio, video, graphics, yeah. I use chat, but any LM can do that, Doug. Yep. Gemini analyze. Yeah, just have it go through. And now, if you've got it organized, just say, look, I have a folder on this. I want you to take a look at the folder, tell me what it's about. And have the AI tool go take a look at it and say what it's about. You don't have to tell it. Tell it to go and analyze it. Pick out the key points. Create a framework or process based on the ideas in it. And I have a whole bunch of prompts that I shared in one of the other videos, how to create frameworks from your content. And again, it's just a framework you can use to create a framework. Really, really simple stuff, but ask ChatGPT to do it. You don't have to come up with it any there. AI companions, Debbie Brady. Yeah, companions are cringe. That's one of the ones that's actually come up a couple times now. I know Grok got in trouble with them. I know Facebook had some ones that were kind of iffy that they just got called out on last week. And the ones that Facebook just announced too, kind of interesting. Facebook just announced a whole bunch of them that are to assist or help teens who are having emotional or psychological problems. So there's going to be all sorts of ethical questions or ideas on this, but the technology is there. And whether it's for something that is companion related or a personal AI assistant that is smarter than anyone else, that answers all of your questions and is available 24/7. Again, there's a balance there, and we'll have to see actually what happens here. Yeah, I haven't seen, Debbie, I haven't seen the ones with companions, anything other than, I know they got a little bit of bad news on that particular one. So rather than use YouTube for keeping content, you would also do podcasts. Keep that information. Take text and convert it to audio for a single person or multiple person text file. Okay, good questions. Yeah, let me just answer in which, okay, so here's the thing with YouTube. I like YouTube because, and let me just open this up. Again, this is the video that I did yesterday, but I'll talk about it just for a second. Just getting my video pencil set up here. Just going to turn it on. There we go. And then we'll see if I can get the pencil. There we go. And actually, this is from the video that I did yesterday. It just hasn't been removed. So here's the part, this part here, this audience part. This is the part that is, in my opinion, this is the foundation of your education business. But this audience is where you build an audience, and you do it by broadcasting your own TV station, which in this case is YouTube. The reason that I do YouTube and I do as many videos as I can, as quickly as I can, is I want to build my audience of people that are tuning into me on a regular basis and or becoming aware of me. So I want to create as much content as I can. I personally put it on YouTube because I want the audience from YouTube. Now, I'm going out to a big audience. If you have a captive audience already, you don't necessarily need to do that. But I need a captive audience, and I need to get noticed in a whole in a space maybe that there's lots of competition, and that's why I'm doing as much as I can consistently in a particular place. That audience, I chose YouTube, but you can use any other platform for that. That platform can be using a Spotify podcast or an iTunes podcast. It can be on Vimeo or Wistia or any of those places where it's public, and any of the places where they have the ability to take the audio and turn it to text. Now, there's all sorts of tools that do that on a regular basis. The one that I just showed you was from YouTube. However, if you have an MP3 file, I'm sure there's ones that do that. And I think most of the services that are podcast services that upload, traditional podcasts will automatically create a transcript from it. Or you can build your own mini app on Opal, for example, a throwaway app, that one I just showed you if you can't find one, and just say, I'm going to give, here's my MP3 file, give me a cleaned up transcript. And you can say, Descript is an example of a tool that you can give an MP3 file and put it in and get a text file out of it. So those are the ones that you can actually go and create quickly. You can also say something like, there's two voices. What I want you to do is separate the voices to separate text files so that we have them. If you have text files, the coolest thing to do is, if you want to create an avatar, there's a tool called Hey Gen, which you can use. And again, this one has a free level, 0 per month. You can get started with it. And in that particular case, you can actually create a physical avatar that looks like you, may not sound like you yet, but it allows you to do that. Where's one that I had? Yeah, so this is one of the ones I did as a draft a long time ago. So I picked an avatar and synced up a script to it, so it looks like the avatar got going. But in my particular case, sorry, I didn't change the screen there. So this is heygen.com, and I've got an avatar that was here. Basically create an avatar. One of the things you can do is you can train it, so you show pictures of yourself. It actually creates someone that looks and sounds like you. This one was done 6 or 7 months ago, so I don't know if it'll actually spin up. 145 days ago. There we go. So this one, you put your script in on the left-hand side here, and it will actually make this avatar say the script, lip sync, all done perfectly. So if you have a text file from a podcast, you want to show yourself on video, create an avatar in HeyGen and actually have it go in, and it will do it from the script in its voice. Or if you want to, take that text script and go to 11 Labs, and it will actually go and do text to speech if you want. And that's where you can train it on your particular voice. So you give it a couple examples of your voice, it puts it in, and it will actually go and sound pretty much like you. And if you have an MP3 file from 11 Labs, you can actually take that 11 Labs audio and provide it here, and it will actually sync up the two. So your voice with this avatar or your voice with your avatar. So if you have a podcast, if you have a text file, you can create audio with it. If you have audio and or a text file, you can create a video with it using HeyGen. And there's a lot of people right now that are actually doing YouTube channels that are completely HeyGen accounts with scripts. And they're pumping this stuff out quickly. Now the question becomes, is the value in the script that's created enough to make yourself stand out, or is it something that you can reuse and repurpose within your campus to actually use and apply frameworks that have value? If it's just the sake for doing one, I don't know how it fits into the a whole entire business. So, and single or multiple persons, if I'm not mistaken, it does allow you to do that. The other one that I will show you, just because we're here still, is that's Gemini Live. Let's go back and see if I found it here. Yeah, we had Notebook LM, remember? There we go. Okay. So in Notebook LM, we'll open this one up. Remember I started at the beginning, I put all of these things in and I asked it to create a video. The other one here is an audio overview, and it will take your summary of these documents, and it will create an audio overview podcast. And it uses, you can make it longer, for example. You can give it some prompts. You can choose the languages for it. And on this one, I believe it does a male and a female voice. It's not yours necessarily, but it still has two voices. And if you have this podcast, it's an MP3 file. You can take it and massage it, bring it to 11 Labs, or change it back to text, or you can bring it to HeyGen and use it there, but say, hey, turn it into one voice. So you got a lot of options in repurposing it and doing content there. And the other one you might want to do is say, here's, give it to Opal. Here's an MP3 file. I want you to create a mini app, and you just basically talk to the Opal from Google and just say, hey, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you an MP3 file. I want you to separate the two voices, one male, one female. I want you to create a lesson plan, create a lesson, create a syllabus, create course content, give me a script for my avatar to talk about. So you can start creating your own little mini apps to be able to do any of these little applications that you need on the fly. So this one will go and create one pretty quickly. Now what I will do, just because we're here, is remember I did that video? I'm going to turn this on for you, so we'll play it. This is an explainer video that was done in the little bit time that we were there. Finished a minute ago, so let's open it up and see what happens. Oh, sorry, let's try it again here. Go full screen. Let's see if we can get this to play. Here we go.
All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We are jumping ahead just a couple of years to see how we'll be talking to AI. And I mean that literally. Forget all the complex code, forget prompt engineering, because by 2026, the most important skill you can have might just be having a good conversation. Let's get into it.
So I want you to imagine it. The year is 2026. You're not wrestling with some complicated interface or trying to remember the.
So there
Well,
we go.
this
I got an
smooth, easy
explainer
dialogue,
video
it's not magic.
that's put together
Underneath this really
pretty
natural.
quickly. And this is something that, again, that you can put into content, give students, create a course around it, use this as the video that goes with your framework and your notes that you've created, which is what I'm going to do here. Again, pretty straightforward. We have a video asset that can be put into our knowledge base, our library, and accessed from other tools and other AI in the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Already right now, but I think it's going to get a lot easier for the AI tools to be able to go and access this. And here's the interesting part again. And then, by the way, put your questions and stuff in. I know I get kind of ranting on this. Here's the part that I think is going to be really, really fun for anyone who's a creator and a content creator. I just did that that prompt, right, that we were talking about. Let me just show it up, that framework that I was just kind of talking about here. And one of the things that was interesting to me while I was doing this is, and just put this to the side here. One of the things that was really interesting is while I was doing this, in the past, when we all thought about prompting, or I thought about prompting, it was like I gave it a prompt, I got a response, maybe I copied it and pasted it somewhere, and then I had to give another prompt to get something redone in a different format or recreated from it. And here's the thing that is always, this is one of the big things that's changed, I think, moving forward. And this is even going to get more important. So when I was doing this kind of prompting or going back and forth having a conversation with this, it automatically asked me, do you want me to turn this into a visual PDF infographic with bold headings, icons, and a clean layout? I didn't ask for this. I didn't prompt for it. So a lot of the times that we were prompting to say, hey, create a quiz, or hey, create this, or I need an infographic, or I need slides, something like that. The AI tools are starting to do all the heavy lifting for the actual work that we may have done in the past. And I think that's why having a conversation with our AI assistant, next time you go through a chat, just take a look and see what are the things that it's offering me or offering to do for me that is the heavy lifting stuff that I used to have to prompt before and kind of create myself. It's doing it on the fly. So the challenge becomes, how do I converse or talk with these AI tools and get the outcome that I want and guide it through there, or help me guide people through there? So think more about conversations and outcomes as opposed to, oh, I need a perfect prompt for that. Get your content together, think strategically about the frameworks and the process. Hopefully that makes sense kind of moving forward here. What have I got here? Okay, 13 people, hour and 13 minutes. What do we got for questions? Take text. So hopefully that happened. That helped a little bit, LR. Okay, there we go. BOGO, a YouTube and explainer content. Good show. Perfect. Yeah, so any other questions, stuff that you want to see, stuff that we're working on? Any other suggestions, stuff like that? What about, share it. If you have comments and stuff, put it in, and don't be afraid. What I would like for everyone is, if you're a member of trainingsites.io, and I'll open it up again so that you can get in and see it. But what I would hope and what I would like to see is, if you guys are available and you are members of the community, what I would love is if you've got, different tools and resources that you've been using, put it in and share it. Like, I would love to find out about more stuff. There's all sorts of things that I know, but I'm sure there's all sorts of things that you know about tools. How are you using them? What have you created? The other thing is if you have wins and celebrations, if you've created content, if you've created a new campus, if you've got additional material, go in and put it in. I would love to be able to see that, see what's happened. All sorts of people are creating cool stuff. don't be afraid to put it in the community here. And again, I'm not, obviously, if it's, I don't want blatant sales stuff, but I want to see your creations. What have you been doing? How are you creating educational content? What worked? What didn't work? What tool did you use to work it? So get some feedback from the other people on the site, get some feedback from myself and the team here. Again, all sorts of great stuff, and everyone can learn from everyone else. And that's why I have the wins and celebrations and the tools and resources that are available. And of course, we do have classes. This is kind of sales and pitches stuff. But we have classes like this every Wednesday that are open. And then we have some daily sessions and big weekly workshops for the paid members who upgrade and want to get live one-on-one and one-on some works where we actually do work, apply and implement some of this stuff and get over the headaches. So very, very, very important that you create content as fast as you can, as much as you can, and you archive it and get ready to make it available for your campus where you can start to monetize it if that's kind of the goal that you want. I think what I'll do too is the course that I just did, or the research I just did, I'll put it in as a course. That clear framework that I talked about is an important one, and I think 2026 is going to be super exciting for anyone in the creator space because we're just going to be talking, whether that's to an AI agent that is doing our marketing or our content creation or our social media or our support tickets or whatever it is in the business, our outreach, our email marketing automations. We're going to be talking and getting a handle on what it is in that business that we need to have done and assigning the right AI agents to do the way that we want it done. That's all about conversations and handing off those jobs so we can think about cool things and share what it is that we've actually know, love, and do. So let me see what else we got questions. I'll keep on talking if there's more questions. What else we got here? Have you thought about a workshop to build what each student wants to build? Yep, absolutely. That's one of the things that I think we'll put in the classes here. Right now, my thinking is to kind of break it up into the pieces. However, having said that, this whole brand new campus map that I'm putting together and this kind of community or campus map piece and the growth from these steps, that one I'm gonna start doing kind of as a workshop where I'll either do like a whole morning, 3 hours to go through it, and then have follow-up sessions as it gets implied. But that map is going to be updated here in the course so that you'll actually get to see it in the course here. It'll have updated content with a brand new map. And then in the classes, we'll actually go and start working on it. And hopefully you guys will work on it too, live when we're in the thing. So if it means, hey, go open a Circle account, or hey, go install this plugin on your WordPress site, or hey, create the spaces here, or hey, let's create our first course, or how to set up your live event. And all of them will be about using AI to do that in terms of the content and structure that are actually happening. And that's what I'm doing here, is building out these workflows or frameworks on how you, if you want to start building an education business, all you have to do is apply these frameworks to your unique personalized situation. Not me telling you how to do things in terms of sharing content with you. All I'm doing is I'm sharing the framework or the prompt and the application of it, and I'll help you do it if you need some help. And if you don't, that's fine too. And again, if you want some help doing it, that's the part you pay for. And then the other thing is if you just go, man, I don't want to learn this, but I just want a campus. The other thing, of course, that you can do is give me a shout, because I am building, and get a spelling error here. We also do build these privately branded campuses for people. It takes about 24 hours, and you can have a site exactly the same as mine that's here, and even one done with Circle, which looks almost identical. One's hosted on a WordPress site, the other one is hosted on a software as a service. But if you want to find out what it takes, if one's for you, go to trainingsites.io/site and book some time with me, and I'll basically let you know how quickly we can get things done based on what you're doing, and in fact, if you even need one or where you're at with one. And 24 hours, you got your own campus. Start putting your content in. start asking people to join your community and get ready to monetize them in some way with some processes you want to pay for or some access level that you want to provide to them. So what else we got for questions? We got a couple more minutes here. Yeah, so let me just, so I got another one here, LR. Okay, would you use Claude or some other AI to generate a course for learning Opal? Yeah, so that's an interesting question. For learning Opal, you can, here's an interesting way to do it. And this is what I've done. I did with a couple examples. If you go to AI Studio, let me try this. I'll try it for you live and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go to, I did a thing on, when this first came out, when AI Studio first came out, let me pull this up again. When AI Studio first came out, yeah. And again, I don't know if I can do this with the talk part. So if I get feedback or something, I'll help. But if I'm here and I'm Gemini Live and I've got Opal, getwithgoogle.com is my Opal account. I don't know if I'll be able to log in. But if I go in and I just say share screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a Chrome tab. And we'll see if I can find the one that we were doing, which was Opal. See if I can find it. What was it called? Let me just find the Opal one that I opened already. What I'm trying to do is I'm just going to take a look for Opal and we're going to share the screen. There's one here. So I'm going to go Opal. So this one was called opal.google. The name of this one is Opal Experiment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we'll go to AI Studio. We'll open that one up, which is this one here. I'm going to go on share screen. And in my case, I'm going to go and say, let's do Chrome tab. And Opal Experiment is there. So I'm going to share this screen. So what I'm going to do is I've got AI Studio. I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to have a conversation about how to use Opal. So this is just one way of doing it. You can also create a course by using Gemini to create a course about Opal. But this one's kind of neat because it will actually tell me what to do while I'm doing it. So let's do share. And here, we're sharing the screen, view tab, stop sharing. There we go. And on this one, let me see if I can get this to work.
Uh-huh.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How about you?
Good, good. What I'm trying to do is learn how to use Opal. I was wondering if you could give me a hand. I'm new to this, so where should I start?
Welcome to Opal. To get started, you can click on the Create New button. It looks like it's on the right side of your screen. That will allow you to build a new app.
Okay, here we go. I click Create New.
Great. Yes, please click on Create New.
So what do I do from here?
You should now see a screen where you can describe what you want to build. You can type your request in the box at the bottom of the screen. For example, you can say something like, build a simple app to translate languages.
Okay, I just did that.
Perfect. Now, there should be a button to generate the app. It might be an arrow or a submit button. Can you find it?
Yeah, I hit that and it looks like we've got an automation put together there.
Excellent. On the left side, you should now see the workflow of the app, likely showing user input, translate text, and generate translated web page. On the right side, you should see a preview of the app.
Okay, cool. What about if I want to change how it actually gets outputted? I don't want a web page, I want something else.
Sure, you can change the output format. Look for the output section in the workflow on the left. You should see an option to modify the output type. Click on Generate Translated Web Page, and you should see different output options.
Okay, manual layout, web page auto layout, save to Google Docs, save to slides, save to sheets. Okay, I'll save it as a doc.
All right, select Save to Google Docs. Now, the app will be configured to save the translated text into a Google Doc. You can try running the app to see how it works.
Okay, let's go.
Now you should see a Start button on the preview side. Click on that to run the app.
Type or upload the response.
Now you should see fields to enter the source text and the target language. Go ahead and type some text to translate and select the language.
Okay, there we go. So
Great!
thank you very much. There we just stopped it. Okay, so I want you to just think about what happened there. There's something, we just created a mini app, took a couple minutes in Opal, and I was actually using Gemini Studio to teach me how to use the particular app. It knew what exactly was on the screen. It was able to follow, give me instructions. It knew when I had done stuff. I just told it what it did, and there's a tutorial on a piece of software. And again, Opal came out 2 weeks ago. So these tools now know any piece of software that you have, any web page that you're working on, any document that you're working on, it actually knows and sees this stuff and can guide you through it directly on the page. Now, I only did it watching the page, right? We could have had it watching the camera. And in fact, I use this on the weekend. Yeah, on the weekend, I actually use this because I did with my son, we did brake pads and calipers on one of the cars here at home. We didn't bring it to the mechanic. We actually did it in the driveway, and we had a couple questions about stuff. I took my phone up. I was talking to Gemini about the proper placement of the clips. So show live on the camera, ask questions. Is this a proper positioning? This is the car, this is the kind of thing, what needs to be done, how does this work, anything I should be aware of. And again, we had an assistant there, we had a mechanic with us beside. So if you need to create applications or you aren't sure how to use something or do something, use this just as an example. And this is why I think, one of the points that I made is that tutorials that are necessarily things that are not framework related or process related are going to have a lot of trouble, because there's AI that basically takes care of what might have been put together for a how-to video on a piece of software. The implementation of the software is a different thing. How to use the interface is something that AI can do. But if you have a unique process or a way to apply the plugin or the software to a specific task, that's where you come in. So really interesting. That was live. First time I've done it with that particular tool, but that's AI Studio. Give me a thumbs up if you thought that was pretty cool. There we go. Thank you very much, Dean. There we go. Yeah, so what else have we got here? Any more questions? I've been on for an hour and a half again. I get going on these ones. This is exciting stuff. It's only going to get better. It's not going to get worse. It's only going to get faster. It's not going to get slower. And I think, even the end of this year, it's September right now, we're going to have interesting things going to happen next month with Apple to see if they actually get into the AI space. Stuff that I've heard is they might buy one of the big companies. I don't know if that's true. There's talk about them buying Perplexity, which is a whole other issue. But I've also heard that they're going to stick with the hardware and just give access to the Gemini stuff, but they're going to stay a hardware company. So that comes out, and I think their announcement is in October, end of September, beginning of October. I can't remember the exact date. So that's going to be kind of interesting that happens there. And I think that's going to be one of the last pieces that falls in place in the AI space with the traditional ones, or the ones that we all know of. Um, and then from that, there's really cool stuff happening on the agent side and the avatar side, and the speed at which those are getting better is only going to get faster. So, if you're creating a course and you're creating an education space, if you're creating something that you think is monetizing information, I just want you to consider the fact that if you want to be able to monetize it in a way that is other than selling a course, You're going to have to do something along the lines of a privately branded campus that involves a community and a shared space for people who are interested in a particular topic and your view of it. And your ability to get people in there and then start to engage them, which is what I'm starting to do here at trainingsites.io, to get people engaged and starting to monetize them through a whole range of different applications. So this is what's happening, and it's only going to get faster. Just selling a course, I don't think it has legs anymore. And there's still a lot of people that talk about selling courses. And I think the big problem in the course space or education space is that the idea of a course has changed. And I say course, and course I think is more about blended learning and teaching of an application implementation of a framework or a process. And a course isn't a content course anymore. There's no value in that. And even some of the things that you have as a process, if it's a very common one or one that someone can pick up themselves and are able to apply easily in a whole bunch of different situations, again, they'll do that. People have the tools. The stats that I saw, there's probably a billion users right now from ChatGPT on a monthly average user. I think it's there. I've heard 700 million people are using ChatGPT daily. So anyone who's buying your course, anyone who's taking your course, they have exact access to the exact same tools that you do. Some of them probably know how to use them better. So if you're going to do that and you're going to be in the education space, you got to start thinking outside of the box on how you can actually do things with your content, with your processes, and share that. And the good news is for people who like to teach is I think there's going to be a renaissance of live interaction. And that's why we're doing live classes as often as we can. And I'm going to start doing them more and more moving forward. So hopefully that helps a little bit. What else we got? Any other questions before I bring it in for a landing here? Again, these ones I do every Wednesday. I want to thank everyone that came on. I know sometimes I get kind of sidelined here. If you do have questions or you do want to learn more about all of this stuff, how to use it, how it works, I would love for you to make sure to go to trainingsites.io/join. Like and subscribe to this channel. And please, please, please get in here and start playing around in the study hall in those spaces and start sharing all of your stories about what you're doing, what you're up to, what works, what doesn't, what tools you're working. And if you got courses here, don't like pitch them, but just say, hey, I created a course. Come check it out. This isn't a place where I'm the only one with answers. I want you to share some of the stuff that you've been doing and not doing. And let's figure this all out by ourselves, but hopefully in a privately branded campus that we've created for you so you can start, build, and grow your education business. So my name is James. If you haven't been here before, thank you very much. And we'll bring that one in for landing. Take care, everyone. Expect the best. Get ready for another video in a couple minutes because I just finished the other part of the brand new campus map. Take care. Expect the best.